Listen, guys, what is going on? Listen, man, we have another doozy here, another unfortunate situation of a single mother that hooked up with her Pookie high school sweetheart that actually scammed her, took advantage of her for a whopping $1.4 million. And it's unfortunate it took this woman almost 10 years to find out that this guy was a narcissist, a scam artist, a complete pretender that did this to her. So let's just jump into this story. So this is the unfortunate story of Shareza Jackson and her pretend doctor boyfriend turned hubby, Dorian Wilkerson. Now, Shareza, she was a fairly successful black single mother. She was doing her thing in Florida, I think around the Fort Lauderdale, Miami area, if I'm not mistaken. She had her own home. She had 2 luxury cars. She worked as a regional director in the medical field. So she was doing pretty well. Her 2 teenage daughters were almost adults. And then this savvy, silver-tongued high school sweetheart of hers, Dorian, happens to slide into not the DMs, but in her Facebook inbox back in 2014. And obviously, I always say, ladies, their type doesn't change. So this was her first love maybe in high school. And after 20 years, he just comes out of nowhere and decides to rekindle things with her. So they start dating for 2 years. He tells her that he's a successful doctor. He's an epidemiologist working at Emory Hospital, a PhD. Also with the CDC, he's doing his thing. So he's definitely making some big money. So she's hearing all this. She's like, okay, this is my high school sweetheart. He didn't turn out to be a thug or anything. He doesn't have any kids. He's single, available. I hit the jackpot. Sheesh. So on a business trip, she actually flies out to Atlanta. Good buddy picks her up from her hotel in a Bentley, wearing his scrubs and stethoscope and lab coat. Takes her back to his loft, his condo, gets changed, and basically he clapped the cheeks right there. She was completely smitten. She's like, oh my God, this dude he's it. He's that dude. And everything's going swell. The love of her life. So they immediately marry, or not so much immediately marry, but they get married in 2016. In a beautiful ceremony down there in Fort Lauderdale, 200 people. And she was just on cloud 9. The daughters were so attached to this guy. This guy was so great that the adult daughters actually changed their last names to Wilkerson. This isn't even their father. These are adult women that changed their name to Wilkerson after him. Not only that, good buddy helped her set up a cosmetic center down in Miami where he was posing as a doctor. From what I'm reading, this dude was actually pulling off BBL surgeries, breast augmentations and things like that down there from what I'm gathering. So he was actually pretending to be a doctor doing this stuff. So I guess good buddy has some talent. This isn't unheard of because there's a lot of guys out there that's actually pulling this stuff off as well, that's pretending to be doctors. Y'all heard about the teenage kid that was doing that as well. But anyway, he gets her to use her money to set up this center down there in Miami. But she immediately starts losing money in this process. The business was losing money, and Buddy was just making up some good excuses of why they wasn't coming out on making a profit out of the situation. Even though all along he was stealing the money and pocketing it, you know what I mean? So she eventually quits her corporate job as a regional director and she relocates down there to Miami. She actually starts working for the business full time. During this time, women started contacting her saying that good buddy's a scammer. I dealt with Buddy in the past. He emptied out of my accounts. He did this, that, and the third. So at this point, years later, she decides to conduct an investigation and look into Mr. Dorian's background. And what she finds out is that Dorian is actually a convicted felon that is on probation. He's not a doctor, not qualified. He never even went to school except high school, but he's a convicted felon since 2002. He was charged for assault and battery back in 2007 and domestic violence back in 2009. And he was even charged with impersonating a doctor. So Buddy just had a slew of charges going on here. So eventually, after losing all this money, they had to close the business out. She rocked with him despite all these lies. They had to close the business out in 2022. Now, when she actually confronted Good Buddy about stealing the money forging her signature, writing checks, getting all these different loans and funding on her behalf. Buddy had filed a police report, and I never even knew this was possible. This is news to me, saying that she was misappropriating the funds or misusing the funds in their joint account. He had already filed that against her at this point. And she was just looking crazy like, man, this dude just racked up all this debt, $1.4 million. And he has a pattern from what she found out after she filed for divorce. He had a pattern of just being on Pookie time, scamming women. And then once he left them high and dry with high debt, he would move on to the next woman. So she filed for divorce. From what I'm seeing, it was March 22, but some say March of this year, March 2023. And she released a book in October of 2023 from what I'm gathering here. And the book is called Successful Women Get Played Too. Now, baby, in terms of successful women, I think you are the most to get played because you go after Pookies. These women like fairy tales and fantasies, so they always fall for these things. And somehow the guy's a narcissist, obviously. He's a narcissist. We already know that. He can't be anything but a narcissist. She also sues Buddy for her money back, for all the money that he took from her, even though they were married. She sues him, and she goes from being this successful professional black woman, but one of the only black-owned cosmetic surgery centers in Miami, to having nothing and being broke. And this is just unfortunate because a lot of you ladies, y'all fall for this stuff. Y'all don't do any background checks on the dudes that y'all dealing with that just come out of nowhere. These guys don't be having no money. These guys, and I'm assuming she can't really, because this is where I'm confused about. Can't really say anything if this dude is performing surgeries. That's what I'm getting. Like, this dude was actually performing surgeries at this place. Like, wow. So I guess it wasn't a matter of whether he had a job or not down there, if he was actually doing the surgeries, so pulling this stuff off. But it didn't say anything. He's an epidemiologist. That's something about collecting tissue samples and epidemics and CDC stuff. Epidemiologists collect and analyze data to investigate health issues. Okay. Oh, but I guess he went from that to plastic surgery. So, ladies, I just want you to, even though you take responsibility and accountability, all this time you knew this dude was a scammer. I'm surprised he didn't get hit with a slew, especially if he was performing surgeries. I don't know. That's what I'm reading. Unless you had other doctors working there pulling this stuff off. That's neither here nor there, guys. She's still waiting for her divorce to be final at this point, and she wrote this book that she got played when obviously there were red flags there. You didn't bother to look into his background. You're marrying a person. You guys are actually marrying people that you don't even know their background. You don't even know if they got charges. You don't even know if they're any type of offender. But anyway, guys, let me know what you guys think. What do you guys think about this story? Comment below. Like, share, comment, and subscribe. Hit me up on Linktree to book a one-on-one with yours truly. Purchase all my books, merch, t-shirts. It helps to support the channel. Follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. With that being said, much blessings and abundance. Stick around for the next video that's going to pop up on the screen below. That's where I'm going to see you guys at. It's your favorite everything. This is Wisdom. I'm out of here. Peace.